All right, welcome back to I'm Glad You Asked. I'm Bianca, business coach and creator of Career to Calling.
And I am Dominique Rice, the founder of Dominique Rice Consulting, and as well as multiple nanny agencies.
Awesome. Well, welcome back. All right, Dominique, let's go ahead and get into it. So tell me what your positive challenge and positive was for this week.
Okay, so my first positive for this week is I'm launching a new sales funnel that I'm super excited about. So that's super positive. I'm super excited about this direction. And my sales funnel that I'm creating is phenomenal. My challenge for this week, if you can kind of hear, and last week I was under the weather as well. I had COVID, so I was affected by COVID-19. I tell people I don't want to call it Corona because COVID sounds more scowl.
Okay.
So, but I am really proud of myself for pushing through. I rested, I took care of my body. I haven't left my house for 8 days now, and I feel much better. So that was my challenge. And my last positive is I brought one of my virtual assistants back on, and she's been helping me with some different campaigns, and it's been really good to kind of outsource to someone else a lot of the busy work that we sometimes as entrepreneurs get caught up in that cycle. So those are mine. What about you, B?
Awesome. Well, positive is that I've decided that I'm going to expand my practice to men and women. So I
Oh,
actually have my
that's
first
cool.
male consultation, yes. And it's funny because Dominique and I were talking about that. And then all of a sudden I got a DM like at the same exact time we were talking about it. And I screenshotted it to her because I was like, you cannot make this stuff up. So I just feel like, although we identify with women in general, and I think that women are naturally going to be more attracted to us as business owners and business coaches, I don't want to exclude anybody particular. So my advertising and everything is going to remain the same. However, if there is a man that I can help, I definitely want to be open to that. And I think that especially Black men, I think that they're overlooked in a lot of sectors. There's not really a lot of communities, especially when it comes to business coaching and consulting, that only cater to Black men. So I feel like they are struggling to find their space. And so I want to open that opportunity for that. So, challenge this week. I will say that I had a couple of client referrals over to the media team that weren't able to pan out. So we're trying to figure out what makes a particular company a qualifier. And I just want to be transparent with that because these are things that we are need to overcome. And me and Dominique and I have realized that we're going to start to become well versed in the ad space and ad category so that we're going to be able to help and direct our clients more effectively. So we're working through that. And then another positive is I had a great session with my clients this weekend. One of my clients, just finished her DBA. She's changing her business name, developing her logo. And one of the things I did was kind of just reflect back to her goal setting and really go down all the different descriptors on what she wanted to achieve this year. And she's pretty much already accomplished 50% of the list with only us working, with only us working for about 4 or 5 weeks.
Mhm.
And especially when it comes to consulting and coaching, a lot of times we got to make sure that we're looking at the ROI and practicing that reflection. So yeah, that was my week.
I love it. I love it. Well, that is huge for your clients to have so much progress. And I think sometimes when we're working on projects, even like myself, I don't see how far I've come. You know what I mean? Like, so to us, it's just like, oh, I'm doing stuff. It's not exactly what I want
Mhm.
it to be. And then you really sit down and you look at it, you're like, wow, like I really did that and I really cultivated that. So I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to focus on how far we've come, not only how far we have left to go. So we
Yeah.
really have to practice that vibration. Great. So you look like you're about to say something.
I was gonna say, another thing that we need to practice too is like not talking about what we can't do. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of times when I'm doing consulting. So today, for instance, today I did a sample call and the person said, well, due to COVID, I'm not able to service people, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there's plenty of businesses open. You can service hospitals, you can service banks, you can service daycares. I can list it off. So, like, let's not get into the mindset of what we can't do. Let's focus on
Mm-hmm.
what you can do. Like, yeah, half the businesses are probably closed, but those ones who are open, you can then now service them. And a lot of people have that mindset. But if you're the one that goes in as the I can do, you're the one that's going to get those contracts. So I really think like putting things out into the, like, not what you can't do, but what can you do, and focusing on that.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, it's about what story are we telling ourselves, right?
Exactly.
A lot of time we take on the assumption of the market or of a competitor or of our company, and most of the time it's the story that we're telling ourselves. So how do we pivot that? We don't assume. Never assume.
Exactly. Exactly. Did you see that? For have you? I don't know if you follow. Do you follow NASCAR at all?
No.
So, growing up and living in the South, especially here in Charlotte, like NASCAR is a big deal. And NASCAR, oh, I'm jealous. NASCAR has banned the Confederate flag at all races.
Oh, wow.
Heard of, because NASCAR, breeds fans who historically enjoy that flag, so that's a huge
Hmm.
thing. And then NASCAR announced earlier this week, or within the last 7 days, that they've hired a very handsome diversity and inclusion specialist.
Oh,
Leadership.
funny you say that.
I'm on the Charlotte Black Welcome Committee, so he's definitely going
Yes,
to get
you
an
are.
email. He's Charlotte email for sure, considering we're
Mhm.
in the same space. So,
Yeah.
colleague to colleague, hello.
I love it. I love that. So,
So,
tell me, what is the actual representation of the Confederate flag?
well, that's the thing. I went to high school in Tennessee. Football games, it was always flung around at tailgating. And so I just look at it as like, this is how certain people, I've never took it as offense, because I just know that that's what they feel and they love and they relate to. But, the Confederate flag is basically like the flag of those who lost the war. So it's not even a winner flag. You lost. So I don't understand. It's like our heritage. It's like your heritage as a loser
Mm,
so I really don't get it. I think it's deeply rooted in slavery and just everything that oppresses Black people. But, people seem to think that's their heritage. But one fun fact that's been coming out about the Confederate flag that I didn't even know is that that flag was only used for about 5 years. So, like, how do you have so much
hmm.
heritage flag that was only like represented for a total of 5? Like, what heritage is that? To fight for slavery heritage, to be, so it's a really weird thing. There's a funny meme going around that says like the Golden Girls were on for like 8 seasons, so we should have like a Blanche flag,
Yeah.
because they're more of our heritage than the Confederate flag.
Right.
To ban it for an organization such as NASCAR, to ban it, it's definitely a statement that they're really trying to make an effort. Um, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't buy it, so I can't relate.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I just have to do a little bit more research on the Confederate flag. I'm not sure what it represents or what the intent is behind it, unfortunately. So, and a lot of the things that have been transpiring lately have, spiked an interest in me to really get to know exactly what's going on, and then make my own conformed opinion. So yeah, so that's a big move, though. I'm sure people are pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure. So we'll see how
Mm.
the next
Oh
race
well.
is with flags. I don't
Yeah.
know. They're not gonna be happy.
Yeah. So, so the topic for this week I want to talk about is, you know, feeling comfortable in front of a camera.
Okay.
So I know, my client just filmed one of her first vlogs for this week, and I actually haven't seen it yet. She still is working on sending it over. Sometimes the files are way too big, and we have to figure out other ways to send it, Google Drive or what have you. Nonetheless, one of the things that she talked about was just like, getting used to seeing herself on camera. And I know that you just ran a wonderful ad, you and I remember you talking to me about some of your frustrations when you were trying to do it on your own. So what was that overall experience like, and like so we can help other people that feel the same way?
Well, I don't even know why was so weird on camera. Like I don't know if it was I was doing it myself. Like when I would look at it, I'm like, even from another person's perspective, for instance, someone who was helping with branding, he was like, "Oh, are you using cards?" I just look like a deer in headlights. Like I was like reading. I'm like, ah. And like when I'm on camera, like on shows, on the news, whatever, I'm super natural. So I think that I have a complex recording myself. I
Mm,
think I have a complex when I'm talking by myself, but I feel fine like in a setting like this. I feel fine in settings on the news. So I think it was a whole aspect of me being the recorder and the person on camera. Um, so I was struggling with it, and then I hired someone, and we knocked it out in 20 minutes. I mean,
mm,
literally, I struggled with it for like 2 weeks. And so that's when I'm like, hire a professional, stop playing around. But that was my thing. Like, I feel super confident. I do not like to watch myself. I know you mentioned your client said that as well. After I record something, I really don't like to hear my voice or watch me. I'm getting better about
mm.
that. I'm like, well, shit, it's out there now. So y'all getting what I put out.
Right.
So
Right.
that's just how I
Yeah, for me, I've had a lot of practice. Now, there was a transition in my life where I was on camera a lot, but obviously I wasn't filming for me, someone else was filming me. And I had absolutely no issues with it. I was like on the news. I mean, I was in media when I was in high school, so I was like did the daily news show. No issue. Then I was a dancer, so I was always on film, and then done little projects here and there. And then recently there was like a span where I was not on film whatsoever. And then I started trying to tape my own, podcast episodes or advertising things. And number one, the memorization, that was really a struggle for me because I would try to memorize everything verbatim. And then two, be quite frank, my weight had just completely changed. So I just wasn't used to seeing the new me. And so I would just be honest and transparent. I had a whole ass breakdown because I was like, who the F is that? Like, that is not me whatsoever. And so I just started to have to be mindful, like, of like the different types of things I wore, just to ultimately make myself feel comfortable, because anybody can tell me whatever, but at the end of the day, I have to feel comfortable with whatever I'm putting out there. I don't care if two people are watching it. I have to feel comfortable with it. It doesn't matter. But I'm starting to really let go and let loose, and I am going to explore, vlogging and things like that. So I'm going to, have some more practice. And then especially with the memorization piece. So what I had to do was start filming, like paragraph by paragraph, and then paraphrasing. So if you understand the concept that you're trying to convey, then go ahead and just not memorize, but just record just kind of it like, I forgot, I'm lost my thought. So instead of memorizing it, just kind of convey the actual thought, and then it comes across more natural.
Mhm.
So I told that, I explained that to my client as well. And then also, it's just kind of like when we hear a recording of our voice, like to us, we're like, who is that? Like, it doesn't sound, you know what I mean? We're not used to hearing ourselves. And then also we're not used to seeing ourselves unless we're in the mirror. So everything that's being conveyed, besides the fact that, the camera angles or things like that may not be flattering, these are the way that people see us anyways. So it's really us. We have to get used to seeing ourselves from another perspective, because we're walking around in our bodies, and it's just not something that we have to get used to. So she thought that, that was an interesting concept, and felt that that really helped her. So, we're just encouraging her to go ahead and put that out there and then move forward with that.
I
Do you
love
have a
it.
topic for
Yeah. So one thing that I really wanted to talk about and ask you about is
mm-hmm.
something that we briefly discussed. what's too much when it comes to sales? Because as I'm launching this new program that I'm super excited about, like we talk about other people and how sometimes they're too aggressive and things of that nature. So like I've created a really aggressive 3-week sales funnel. That is aggressive. It's not every single day you get an email aggressive, but so what's too aggressive to you?
So, I've always been known as an assertive sales professional, but not an aggressive sales professional.
Okay.
Okay. So, assertive is, you pretty much go into a sales call, whether it's virtually or traditionally or in person or online or whatever you want to label it. And you have an objective like, okay, I'm going to move this sales cycle to, like, the goal is to move the knob to the next level. It's not always just to get the sale right away. And when you try to just go in and get the sale right away, it becomes aggressive because it's almost like you're not leaving them with anything valuable. You're focused on your own objectives. So I think that a lot of people tend to start putting out emails and sequences to provide that education, just to kind of move that dial to the next level. But I think your question is around like, how often do you do that? So for me, traditionally, if I know that if it's a hot lead, if I know somebody's completely interested, I would be a little bit more aggressive than if it's a cold lead. Now, if it's a cold lead, I would take my time. So maybe once every 3 days, I would reach out and kind of build that rapport, right? But if it's a hot lead, that's something that you want to stay on top of because you're more likely to convert. Um, you don't want to go in cold and then just start hammering emails or hammering phone calls. They don't know who the F you are, like, period. So you've got to take the time to build that trust and start providing that education. Now, I know I kind of watch a lot of different consultants and coaches and things like that just to have a perspective of what's going on in the market. And I mentioned to Dominique that I felt that there was an email sequence that was coming out to me every single day, and I didn't think it was necessary. And it was actually for a webinar. And so I can't say that it's not effective because it appears that she's doing well. But for me, I don't want to open my email inbox and see an email from you twice, 2 to 3 times a day. That's ridiculous to me. That's kind of a turn off. So but people have to realize there's systems in place that are already automatically funneling out emails. So some people may not even be aware of that. So they have systems that are already set up that say at 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we're going to send emails, boom, 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 boom. And they're not sitting at their computer being aggressive. So maybe they don't understand and they're not aware that it's too excessive. So I can't say it's not effective, but I will say that it's just not my style. It's not
Okay.
my style.
Well, I'm
Mhm.
right where you are. So like I feel like now that you answered the question, so mine was like 2 emails a week. It was like, and then how do you feel about a breakup email? So if you didn't get any responses, they didn't respond. And like when I say sales funnel, guys, I'm not trying to just sell them something. I want to get them on the phone to learn about their business, to learn about their programming, and to see, if we're even compatible. So I'm not even like buy a DVD today. It's really like the dialogue to just start the dialogue, really.
Mhm.
So what do you think about the breakup email? Because I started doing that before and it's gotten great results where people are like, actually, no, I don't want to be off your list. I've just been busy. Can we circle around in 2 weeks? So do you think that's something that's productive or no?
So, I like your feedback because I don't think I've ever sent out a breakup email. So my perspective has always been if we were never in a relationship, then we don't need to break up. So if a client has never responded to you, then there's no need to send out a breakup email because you guys were never a thing. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. Now I like the idea of you saying, hey, I haven't heard back from you. So I'm assuming that you're not interested in my services. So I'm going to go ahead and remove you from the email list so you don't receive any more messages. I like that. So I don't think I would call it a breakup email, but I would, maybe like an unsubscribe email, or I'm going to help unsubscribe you or something like that. So essentially whatever you want to label it. I do like the idea of you sending out like a final email before you take someone off their list. So it's like, listen, it seems like you're not really interested, so I want to go ahead and just take you off the list. And that will prompt, that can prompt someone to be like, wait. I see you. Because there's some emails I'm like, I see you, I'm just busy. Like, I see you, I'm gonna come back to you, I'm just busy.
Yeah.
So if they're like, hey, this is the last time I'm gonna reach out, it's like, hey, I see you, I'm just busy right now. Give me a second, I'm gonna go back and read all your emails. So, and that's
Correct.
what I was gonna do with the young lady that we were speaking of. I was like, I see her, I'm gonna go back and look through her emails. But it was like I couldn't even get a chance to go back and read before I got another one. And that's what was irritating. It was like, I'm busy too. So let me like collect her emails. But it was like now it's like, I mean, it got to be like 25 within like a week.
Well, that's crazy. So with my breakup emails, I don't do like I'm gonna take you off the list. Mine's like, hey, now's not a good time for you, so I'm gonna leave the ball in your court. Now I do circle back around quarterly, just to check in. So like some people like break all the way up, and I'm just like, maybe now's not a good time for you. I respect that,
I
so
like
I'm
that.
gonna leave you alone for a little bit. Hit me up if you need me. And then 3 months later, then they're on a quarterly check-in. So it's not as much, but I
Mhm.
don't believe in like just taking somebody off the list unless obviously they ask to be taken off the list or
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
I'm like, no, you still on here. You're just not in this circuit.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna put you on this funnel. Yeah, I see. That's a good point. I like that. That's a very
So
good point.
that's how
Awesome.
and I'm all about automation. So like it needs to be automated. So I see where, you're saying like if you're not sending the emails that it may look like it's too much because it's automated. But the downside to the upside to it being automated is you don't have to think about it. And another reason why you probably were getting so many is you may even have opened it and clicked one or two. So then that sparks the system. Some people's systems
Mm.
send you more. Oh, Shawty opened it up, bombard her, and that's how some people guerrilla market. And so, there's so many different ways, but that may be a reason why you got so many as well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of guerrilla marketing, but it's effective. It is effective. It's
I'm not.
effective, but that's just not my style.
If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. I don't want to force my product or service down someone's throat. That's just how I feel.
And
I
that's
know you need.
another thing. It's like, yeah, that's another thing. And a lot of people that don't guerrilla market, like when you don't reach out for that quantity, you have to focus on quality. So when you're just not as aggressive, you have to make sure that your product is like an upper echelon of a product, so where you don't have to do that. Like, Lamborghini doesn't have like commercials. Like they don't have to do that because their quality of of their car is just it's desirable. So, if you're not going to be aggressive in one sector, you got to be aggressive in another. And so I just choose to, focus on quality than quantity.
Period. Exactly.
Hmm.
So agreed.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
You're welcome. The only question I have for this week is pertaining to in the internet. So GoDaddy Essentials. So I told her I have to look it up. I don't really know what GoDaddy Essentials are. Do you?
No, what is that?
I'm not sure. So I got to look that up and able so I can help her because she was wanting to know if she should purchase all of the GoDaddy essentials or just her domain name. So typically I only recommend purchasing the domain name, but I'm going to have to go and research it just to figure out exactly what that is so I can respond to her. But that's the only question I got. Did you get anything?
Well, you know what? Maybe it means like something that I actually purchased today, just in case, which could be like I think it may be like the GoDaddy emails and stuff like that. So, you
Mm-hmm.
can purchase emails through GoDaddy. So it can be like mine is whatever at dominiquerice.com. But GoDaddy uses Outlook instead of like
Mm.
Gmail. Some people are Outlook or
And
whatever.
you like Outlook, right?
I actually don't. I don't like Outlook or Gmail.
Okay.
I'm weird, but I was trying to use G Suite for the first time with DominiqueRice.com, and it's been a horrible experience. So I bought the Outlook version just in case I don't hear back from G Suite, because I haven't heard back from them in weeks, and I can't access my emails right now. And there's no way to reset it. There's no number to call, and like that kind of stuff just does not fly with me. So I'm giving them 24 hours, and then I'm just gonna lose all those emails that I can't access anyways. and I've already bought it from GoDaddy. But GoDaddy for me has had always they have 24-hour English speaking customer service that really has always been good to me. And so I'm giving the G Suite one more day, and then it is what it is because I can't launch my
Mhm.
sales funnel until my emails are right. And like
Yeah.
it's just too.
Yeah. I
So
personally use G Suite and never had an issue with it. So, all
yeah,
right.
I password. So I don't know how I'm locked out. There's probably some African scammer on there like sending out messages or something.
Girl, I had that experience with GoDaddy actually this week, but it was like Vietnamese, and I still have to fix that. I just like been in the middle of like trying to get everything organized, but
So
yeah,
are you gonna tell me where you're going, or is it a surprise?
yeah. Is it a
It's a
surprise?
surprise.
I'm gonna vlog. I'm gonna vlog. So let me do it in the vlog.
Okay. So when Bianca, she's gonna post her blog. So when it's up and going, then you can know where she's going. But it's somewhere really dope. And I am waiting because I plan to join her there. I have a plane ticket there. The only downside is your girl's passport is expired. So we need the passport office to go to phase 3 so I can get a same day passport. So your girl's getting ready to do some serious manifestations and we're gonna get this popping because wherever she's going, I know where it is because I have a plane ticket there. It's heaven.
I'm super, super excited. I've been doing a little research. I don't like to do a lot of research because I always feel like when I do a lot of research, then I feel like I already went, and now I'm not even excited now. So I did a little bit just to kind of see like what, how to get around and like, how close my accommodations is to everything and like what restaurants are open, coffee shops, because we a girl still gotta work. Yeah, so right now I'm just organizing transportation. And that's it.
I
So
love
I appreciate the support. I've had nothing but like love and support.
no, it's gonna be good. I don't know shit about where you're going. You told me something yesterday about it. I was like, for real? I don't know, y'all. I don't look up shit. I got really good friends who plan stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I bought a ticket. I don't know where I'm gonna. I don't even know what time. I thought I was gonna be in what time zone I was gonna be in. Like I don't ever know. I don't know what outlets to bring. This is why I really need an executive assistant here. So my goal is next year to get me someone that can like think ahead for me because I truly would never. No, I would think I was on a different time zone. Like didn't know about the weather, the Wi-Fi. I just don't really read reviews. Like I just show up with my shit. Like, I know y'all
That's the
got me in
fact. That's facts. And I'm like, wait, what are we doing? What time are we leaving? What do I need to bring? Like, what's the situation? Where are we going to go? Who's going? Where are we staying? What is it like? Is it dusty? Is it luxury? Like, I ask all the questions and I do all the research. So, yeah. And then Dominic's like, okay, cool. What's up? Like, laptop and bag and she's out. But I am only taking a carry-on and it's literally like a jigsaw puzzle. Like I literally I'm only carrying bringing a carry-on, so I'm really excited. I went to Target today and got some V-necks. I was trying to get like a little purse and I don't carry purses, but I was like I'm not gonna have anybody to put my stuff, give my stuff to. So I was trying to find a little purse, but I didn't want to force it. And like a whole bunch of like little travel essentials. So I'm excited. I got a GoPro. So yeah, I'm excited. It should be fun. It will be. I'm not even doubting.
join you.
Yes. So, all right. So, what are your goals for the week?
So my goals for this week are, well, one thing I want to share is I'm launching. So anybody who knows me knows I'm super big on supporting businesses and organizations, but I don't think our listeners know that I am a diversity and inclusion specialist. So I do consulting in that space. And now with how things are going, I want to support businesses and organizations who may not have the budget or the desire or the need for a full-time person in that role. So anyways, long story short, my goal for this week is to finalize my sales funnel in terms of touches to schedule a initial phone call. My virtual assistant is working on the whole sales strategy in terms of which companies we're reaching out to and things of that nature, and that's going very well. So my goal for this week is to get the first email out to these organizations and to begin the sales funnel. So that's my first goal for this week. My second goal for this week is to continue to rest and take care of my body as my body is recovering. And that is all that I'm working on right now.
Okay, I like it. I like it. So for me, you know, ultimately I was on a great webinar this week, and one of the things she was mentioning is just kind of reviewing your numbers every single day and really understanding and focusing on hitting your target. So now that I'm going to be in another transition, I'm gonna redo my entire business plan and my entire, not strategy. Strategy is always gonna be the same, but as far as the planning, like I remember when we first launched, I was mapping out like on Mondays I do this, Tuesdays I do this, Tuesdays and Thursdays consulting, and Saturdays is only coaching. So right now, coaching is Saturday and Sundays. Mondays is podcasting. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays is consulting, and now I have to integrate vlogging and editing. So on top of that, I have to learn how to edit, well, like travel videos, which are fun, but take a lot of time. And just kind of just like, you know, doing a little bit of research and figuring out like what programs people use. And, you know, I know that there is like a program called Epidemic Sound that people kind of pull music from. So I'm gonna kind of look into that. So now I have to figure out how often I'm going to vlog and how often I'm going to put out videos, and then also what the content is going to be. So essentially I have to figure out how I'm going to integrate my business coaching practice with travel videos. Like how am I going to make that make sense? And so that's something that I have to sit on and really map out. But other than that, yeah, so I really want to get focused on that. And then also just really establishing my numbers for the next quarter and really looking at them every single day. I was telling Dominique, like, you know, if anyone knows the corporate life, every time you sit out at the desk, you pull up your computer and it goes straight to the intranet, which has all the company values, missions, and things like that. And anybody that's ever been a sales representative knows that you get your numbers out every week, and you'll know if you hit your numbers or if you didn't hit your numbers. So that's something that you have to make sure you're practicing in your business. So I definitely want to start paying more attention to that, and I'm going to start with doing it daily.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I want to work on my numbers because as we are approaching the third quarter of this year, we are already halfway through the year. Now is a time to look at your numbers, look at your growth, figure out what exactly you want to hit with this new sales funnel. You know, how many people do I have to reach? You know, starting out with this number to convert X percent. You know, it's a numbers game, guys. Like business is all numbers.
It's not personal, it's all numbers.
Yeah. So know your number, work on it every single day, and you're going to go far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. If you have any questions, you can email us at weregladyouasked@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. See y'all next week.
See you next week.